in today's episode of Simulation Sunday. This is very important to understand. We're not looking for buys because look at this. Yo, what up? Welcome to a new Simulation Sunday where I try to pass a prop firm challenge, and this time I got 100% win rate. I will explain every single setup, no hindsight, and the last trade I took is actually going to be an eye-opener for a lot of you traders. So make sure to watch the entire thing. I always appreciate all of you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Welcome guys to another simulation session. As always, 100k account, DXY, Euro USD. We're going to do 8%, and first of all, take a random date because we don't nitpick any price action. So we got 4th of April 2022. 8%, that's our profit target. Let's create this session. Wow, we've got some interesting daily time frame. Let's go to the monthly first of all. That's where we should start off. Okay, so this monthly this is the importance of candle closures, right? We're gonna focus on that. Previous monthly candle close below the previous month low, right? Which means the next monthly candle is also very likely to go for the previous monthly low, right? So this is the bias starting off. We have this candle starting off here as well. Same closure above the previous monthly high. It's very unlikely it's gonna go for previous monthly low, right? So we already have our bias. The weekly looks kind of compressed, but should still trade lower. Let's look at the daily. This is Monday. Monday straight up trades lower. Let's look at the daily on DXY. Yeah, if we IFVG this daily, it's 100% for me. The bias should be bullish. Because we also have this, right? We have these highs here, relative equal highs. Yeah, so the bias is already set within, like, what is it, 10 seconds. It should not take that long to find a bias, right? Getting in, that's the harder part, for me at least. So we want to aim for all these lows down here, right? This is the 4H. We do have a 4-hour fair value gap being formed here. Might be an area of interest. Let's go to the 1H. Ooh, it looks kind of unlikely that we're actually going to go there because we have this candle repricing this area here already. Then this candle goes back in here as well and then drops, right? So this gap might stay open on the 4H. We're going to keep an eye on that. Let's divide up our daily candle. Probably just going to skip Monday because it starts off at 6 a.m. I don't know why it does that. I would have preferred if it just started off at midnight, but oh well, what you gonna do? We'll just look for another daily candle, right? Right, so I divided up the days. We have an expansion leg on the 1H. Daily time frame on DXY looks to be trading higher. Let's refine it on the 15. So this over here is already balanced, right? So the next available range on the 15 minute is this one, right? If we can actually retrace, right, we can look for a Monday trade. And I think that's actually worth to do because based on the expansion cycle, right, we're just going to use this fair value gap. I'm going to put my stop loss in the gap, which should stay open, right? And then we're going to aim for DXY's highs. And as always, I like to use 2R for the first setup. Let's see where that low is. We can go way lower than that, honestly. I think we can extend this, yeah, for sure. And the 4H is in an expansion cycle, right? So we don't expect this 4-hour fair value gap to get tagged at all. Let me see. Place order. We'll do a 2% as always. We start off with 2%. If you're on a funded account, I would definitely do 0.5% or 1% maximum because you want to be more conservative. And with a challenge, you can be a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, let's keep it on the 15 minutes. See if we can actually get tagged during this daily candle. It's about to go be New York session, so we have a London expansion. New York retracement into continuation, very likely, or retracement and then it starts slowly go down. That's also possible. Let's see if we can get tagged here. So we're not getting tagged. We're in the right order flow, I'm pretty sure. We did not get tagged though. We are at what time? 9:30. New 4-hour candle is opening up. Yeah, this 4-hour candle is closing very deep, right? So we need an immediate rebalance of the previous 4H before we can get tagged. It's probably not going to happen. By the looks of it, the way the 1 hour is closing here as well. So we'll probably just miss this setup here. And then we'll look for the next daily candle. Yeah, we missed the setup. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll find another one. So now we can expect this area is very likely not to get hit, right? We'll see this expansion going towards that high as I expected. However, no trade setup, no retracement to premium, so no setup. And we just want to follow the order flow right now. We don't want to do anything else. We are at 1 p.m. so this is outside of the trading hours. We'll see where Asia session ends up. Right, so this is Asia session done. Is a consolidation, which is pretty good. Ideally, we want to see a run above midnight opening price here and then continuation lower. We do have a swing low, but we already took out the third candle's low, so it's looking like it's just gonna straight up dump down. If that happens, kind of fortunate, but very likely that that's gonna happen, honestly. We definitely will miss a trade if we do not get in right now. This sounds like FOMO entry, but it's literally what we're gonna do is we're gonna do half risk on an entry. If it retraces, we'll put on the rest of the risk, so we then have the full position, because it might run Asia high again, but the way the candles are closing here, it looks very unlikely. So we're gonna do a short straight up market execution. It's a retail style execution. We're just gonna do 2R on this one, right? We'll do half risk, which is 1% in this occasion. If we do get back to this fair value gap here, we'll wait to see if it flips, and then we'll put on the rest of the risk. There we go. Now we're in, right? So let's see if it retraces and then drops, we'll put on the rest. Retraces. We drop, then we put on the rest. We put on the rest right now, right? Because we see this. It was an actual initial, the thought was good, actually, this fair value gap, but now we know this is very likely to keep expanding. So now we're gonna put on the rest of the risk. So we're shorting literally below a low. No, you can't do that. Yes, we will. We will short below a low. We have so much room to go lower as well. I think one of the positions will extend all the way down here, which is the initial one. That would be 3.5%, and if we do the same with the other one, how much would that be? That would be like, maybe even if this runs all the way to the low, we could pass it in like 2 trades. Market execution, another sell setup. So we have 3%, and okay, we would be up 6.5% if we hit this low. And then we only need 1.5%. Let's keep it on the 1H, see how those candles are developing. Right. We're dropping here. Okay, this is a good sign, right? Like I expected. We are at the high already on DXY. Don't really like that, but no reason just to wick and just retrace, I guess, because there's a lot of liquidity down here still. So what we're gonna do, we'll just let this daily candle ride, see what it does. Okay, now we're at midnight opening. Do we want to go break even? That's the question here, right? Do we want to go break even, or do we want to secure one of the positions? One is 1.5% up, which is 1.5R, right? I don't think it's worth to do that. We're not going to go break even yet, just in case it retraces back to this fair value gap, right? But yeah, the draw on liquidity was pretty clear. I think this was very solid. Unfortunately, we missed the earlier one. We would have been up a lot more, but you can't catch them all, right? Yeah, let's just let this play out a little bit. If it retraces back to premium, that's allowed, but daily time frame still looks like it can go higher, right? So we're at the next daily candle right now. It looks kind of iffy right now. Daily candle closure looks like it wants to keep continuing higher, but if I look at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all went up, right? So the only sensible thing is to close one of the positions and secure a little bit at least, right? You don't want to... Okay, so we secured 1.1%. Based on this price action here, we don't wanna leave with nothing here, right? Let's put this on break even. If we get stopped out, we'll just look for another entry, right? Okay, we drop, and we're still, yeah, this is why I closed as well. This looks like it wants to go lower still, but we're very deep in discount here, so I don't think it's sensible to look for another one. Either will this position just run towards the low. I think that's probably the case. What we're gonna do, we ran this high here, and we're in an expansion phase right now. We're at the end of the day, so let's skip over to Friday. Yeah, this is very bullish on DXY. I'm still content with the risk management though, because this might as well just ran higher. And you don't never know. You want to secure. Nothing wrong with paying the trader. Yeah, we're not going to touch this. If this starts to reject to the upside, I'm going to close it as well. Right, we'll just start off with 2.5% here. I don't want to hold towards the low. This looks kind of dicey. Okay, so we're start off with a winner. I would have liked more, but we can't complain. We can't complain. A little bit of a starting buffer is never a wrong thing. The thing I hate the most, by the way, is being in drawdown. Seeing those numbers in drawdown, I actually hate that. But that's maybe a flaw of mine. Something I need to work on. Doesn't really happen often that I'm in drawdown though. So let's see how this candle closes. It's Friday. We probably want to skip Friday. Wow, okay. Nice gap down. And the gap up on EU actually. Do we take out this low? This low is still open. Let me think what I want to do here, because we have a gap. But it does not necessarily mean we're gonna go bearish, right? Because a lot of people see the gap They think it will get filled up and then it runs lower. It is possible, but yeah, let's just see where Monday goes. So we fill up the gap, right? We are not displacing away from the gap yet. So we can't say this is the low yet. What I teach my students as well is that there's a powerful signature, which is a continuation purge into an IFVG, which is, this is a gap, but this is a continuation purge in the sense of it runs a high. And then you have a bullish fair value gap here, which should hold price for higher. If that gets inverted, you can actually use that fair value gap for lower prices, right? So let's see if that inverses. If it not, then we'll just look for buys. I don't like this. Okay, we're actually dropping here, right? Look at this candle. This does not look like it wants to go lower, right? This my initial thought was like, I think my initial thought was correct. We do have the same signature happening right now here, and a different FEG, which is this one, right? So same thing here. And in previous simulations, you always also see me do IFVGs, and IFVGs are very good because it indicates order flow is changing, right? So let's take this one, and then if we risk 2%, we'll be up 6%. So that's actually pretty good. And this would be almost at the low, but 2R is just fine. Let's place an order, sell limit, and we'll do 2%, right? Because we're up a little bit. Let's see if we can get tagged. Let's go to the 15, monitor this little bit of piece of price action. Hopefully we'll get tagged. We get tagged here. Do we want to drop? Looks like we want to drop. We're kind of going sideways. This is Asia session. I'm just skipping ahead here. Okay, we're at Asia. Okay, this candle closure is not indicating lower prices yet. I think it wants to run previous weekly high before we go lower on the minimum. So we should still be good with this setup for lower. And look at how the IFG gets used, right? It's just tags in it, close below this candle here. One more tap into it, and now we're going lower again. So I think this still should be a good setup. If we start to displace lower, we can go break even, but not right now. Now we can go break even. Wow, IFG is my absolute favorite PD ray, just simply because of this reason here. Should we scale in? Do we want to do that? Or I think it might be a little bit risky to scale in. We have a risk-free entry here right now. We'll just wait to see if it can displace lower, or it stops us out break even. It stops us out break even, also fine. Now if we drop now, that would be a little bit annoying, but we should not have run this high in my opinion, but price can do whatever it wants. Okay, yeah. Well, I guess so. I guess we want to run this high again. Fully filled up the IFG and then drops. I guess it's allowed, right? We'll allow it. We'll allow it. We missed the entire setup, or we missed the profits. We would have hit target here, I think. But yeah, this is done. Here, we'll wait for the next daily candle. What kind of day are we in? It is Wednesday. Do I want to keep shorting? That's the question. We did not hit the low, but we went way above the high. Yeah, we went way above the high here. Let me think. What do I want to do? Monthly candles very overextended right now. We might have a retracement at later midweek reversal could be at play. I don't really want to go against order flow. I think we can do a midweek reversal play. Depends on how price action develops here. We'll wait. We'll wait. We're not going to do anything here. Okay, we ran the low. Let's look at the DXY's 1 hour. We did not run the high. Okay, this is... I love this kind of signature late in the week because that gives a lot higher probability of reversing. So we do not take out this high, but we did take out the low here, right? So on the minimum, we want to see like a retracement, right? If we look at the 4H, there's nothing here to go back into, right? We have this 4-hour fair value gap. If you start to close below that fair value gap, that actually indicates that we are setting the stage for a retracement, and we might want to run all this, which has been engineered at the start of the week, right? So I'm always thinking about arguments and context and the narrative, what the weekly candle is doing, right? And you should do that as well, because if you can build a picture of what is being displayed, right, you will understand it a lot better. Obviously I can be wrong as well, and then I will just take a loss, but I feel like if I paint the picture right, I can find a lot more winning setups. So we ran this low, we have the OB, we're gonna take this actually, and we're gonna aim for all those equal highs, which have been engineered at the start of the week, right? I think this is worth it based on time of the week, right? So we're gonna aim for this. Maybe we're just gonna aim for this. I already know it's just gonna reverse like a couple of pips before it hits. Okay, we need for 5.5%. So this is almost a 4R. If we put 2% on this, we're gonna actually aim for this high, which is actually a nicer target. Now that I think of it, this is that last leg down, right? So if you run the low of the leg, aiming for the high of that leg that takes out the low, it's a pretty good target. Order pairing, right? See if we can get tagged. Wow. We did not get tagged. This is kind of unfortunate because I know where it's going, but it's not retracing. So we have to remove this. Unfortunately. Picture was painted correctly, but yeah, I did not get hired for the job, I guess. It's late in the day. Let's see what Asia is doing. Kind of unfortunate. And we're aiming actually for all these lows, which I anticipated. Yeah, let's look at the 4H. It's still bearish order flow on the higher time frame, so I'm kind of wary. We do have a daily fair value gap, or this is no, this is the current. Oh, this is a weekly, by the way. We do have a daily fair value gap above here. Might just reverse from there, and then we take out all those highs. I can't do anything here, unfortunately, because it's too high up in the range. I'm not gonna take this fair value gap here. I would rather even short it if it closes below here, because we're still we're running a range high within a bigger range, and if it shows signs of a bearish signature, it's gonna go lower again, because we're in bearish order flow on the higher time frame on euro, right? So let's see what happens here. If it runs the high, yeah, this is what I was a little bit scared of, right? It's dumping here right now. This is not a signature you would see if you were going for buy side liquidity. It runs the high of a range, and now we have this. I want to take this mitigation candle here, actually. I think that this is a very sensible continuation, because we run stops. We violate multiple down close candles, right? Which should have pushed price up. We're in an expansion phase. Now this is showing extreme willingness to go lower again, right? So we're going to do 2R. We need 5.5%, right? So if we do 2%, we need 2.75. I'm pretty sure that's 5.5%, yeah. So we're short this with a limit. Yeah, that's 5.5%. Based on continuation purge, right? And higher time frame still being very bullish on DXY. I think this is worth a shot. Let's see if we can get tagged. We get, wow, okay. That was so fast. That was so fast. Look at that. I just want to go back to that real quick. We passed the challenge, obviously. Thank you. 10 days. No drawdown. Okay, no drawdown. Amazing. But look at that. All right. I'm just gonna... This is very important to understand. We're not looking for buys because look at this. Right? Look at the DXY. Why would you want to buy euro when this happens, right? You could only do a very short-term retracement towards a short-term high, like I explained earlier, right? Very important to understand. And once there's a signature of bearish price action, right, this should have hold. This literally should have hold for higher. It did not. We can use it as an area of mitigation. You always hear the saying, right? Old buying into new selling. This is literally old buying. Here's where old buying happened, right? For buy side of the curve. Once you violate that, is the PD array you can use for sell side of the curve. And it literally tags me here, right, into that violated OB, and then it just runs lower with a passion. This is a big run. Hopefully this was insightful. Once again, Simulation Sunday. I try to do it every week. Last week I just wanted to show you guys how many profits I made in January, but I'll try to do it every Sunday as always. Make sure to subscribe and like, otherwise you will not become a profitable trader, and I will see you next week.